we don't do cocktails.
Lager and a lime, just a lime and he's saying
We can't
cocktail.
just be dour negative bastards up there.
Hey guys, welcome to our channel. Today we are going to watch Live at Apollo and this is a special of Franke Boyle's most hilarious moments. So after seeing all these comedians, somebody has sent us this video, so we are going to react to it. And this is like, I have seen his video, he's very fun. I have seen him roasting people, so he's very good at spontaneous comedy. So I think so this will be very fun to watch. And also he's going to tell us about Brexit and Theresa May. So Theresa May, I know, was one time a prime minister.
What is Brexit?
Brexit was
Brexit.
when Britain like exited from the European Union.
Britain.
Huh.
Oh.
So like UK like was like they took themselves out of it because European Union, all the European countries are together.
Yeah.
So they took themselves out of that union.
Why?
Because they had some issues.
Oh.
So now we'll watch what was this comedy special. So let's watch this video.
Do you remember years ago when they were making Braveheart?
Braveheart.
Everyone said, oh, it's ridiculous. Mel Gibson playing a Scottish guy. That's not going to be very convincing.
I have seen this movie.
And look at him now. An alcoholic racist. The most Scottish thing I've ever seen, I was going through a town called Bathgate at night, and there was a guy pissing against a front door, like that, who then took out his keys and went inside.
Scottish people do that?
I'm from Glasgow. If I had to explain Glasgow to you, I'd say that if I had to pick a city in the world where I could depend on a member of the public to punch a man who was on fire, to punch a flaming man to the ground.
Why?
We should get a photo of that blown up and use it as the welcome sign at Scottish airports. And underneath we should have the words, Scotland welcomes careful drivers. I mean, the naivety
Scotland
of Al-Qaeda trying to bring religious war to Glasgow. We're 400 years ahead of you guys. You've not even got a football team. There's a fallacy, isn't there, that baggage handler prevented hundreds of people from being horribly burned. These were Scottish people flying to Spain.
So?
People say it's good they didn't hit a fuel depot. I think it's good they didn't hit the queue coming out of duty free. They got up like Hiroshima. British Army have got a big recruiting drive on in Scotland at the minute. Because that's what you need if you're fighting an unwinnable war in the desert. More ginger people.
So ginger are orange hair.
That's why they couldn't send Prince Harry. They couldn't afford the resources required to start developing factor 60,000 sunblock.
What?
60,000.
Sunblock?
It's not always the friendliest place in the world, Scotland. I once saw an English guy in Glasgow trying to order a pint of lager and lime. And the barman went, we don't do cocktails.
Lager and a lime, just a lime and he's saying
We
cocktail.
can't just be dour negative bastards up there. John Logie Baird invented the TV, and when people came up to congratulate him, he went, aye, but there's fuck all on. We're looking forward to the Olympics in London. I'll take that as a no. They say the Olympics is going to rekindle English national pride. I mean, come on. For 9.2 billion, you could have written fuck off Germany onto the moon.
Onto the moon.
So we had Brexit. People are saying after Brexit that British people don't trust experts anymore. I don't think that's the problem. I think the problem is that British people have strong opinions based on nothing at all.
On nothing. Based on nothing.
Based on nothing.
I know some important word is coming.
Strong opinions on very little information because we're a decadent society. It's exactly the same thing that happened to the ancient Romans, probably. I've never really bothered to find out. I enjoyed voting in Brexit. Not for the sake of democracy, it's just rare for me to be allowed into a scout hall unchallenged. I like Europe, I like the French. I like the fact that early on in French history, two French people sat down and decided whether nouns were men or women.
Huh?
Literally the most pointless thing that you could do. What would you say a scone is? Is it scone a man or a woman? A scone is a man, you fool! Well, you have to ask. And what about lemons? Are lemons men or women? Lemons are also men!
Of course.
They're little tiny yellow men! You don't really have an ending for this joke, do you? I do not care. I only care about whether the concept of endings is itself male or female.
Oh.
I prefer it when Eddie Izzard does this kind of thing. Eddie Izzard is better at these French jokes than you. That is because he is both a man and a woman!
Oh.
So we elected Theresa May. We didn't even elect her. She just wandered in there like she'd stepped out of a haunted mirror. Hello! Theresa May looks like she's entirely made out of bones, doesn't she? She looks like she's made out of the bones that they forgot to put into Boris
Theresa
Johnson.
May?
She was a prime minister.
The Prime
He's the
Minister.
foreign secretary. A cross between a head injury and an unmade bed.
Head
It's not
injury.
just that he's the worst person for the job, he might be the worst mammal.
Worst
In
mammal.
the Scottish football games now at Hampden, where you're not allowed to bring food into the ground, and they actually search you when you go in to make sure you've not got food on you. It's nice to see we've got our priorities right, isn't it? What's this sort of knife? I hope you weren't planning on making sandwiches.
Not asking about killing, but sandwich.
They're a brutal culture, they really are. Did you see the story of the head that got washed up on a beach in Arbroath? And it was children that found it, which I thought was particularly sad. Because you know that there'll have been a point when they'll have thought that that was someone buried up to their neck in the sand. Then the next day all the limbs got washed ashore in a suitcase. The people of Arbroath were in shock. They'd never seen a suitcase before. I heard a brilliant Scottish story the other day, right? My pal's a magician. He does magic at weddings. He did a wedding a couple of weeks ago where the groom was wearing a kilt, and for the photos he sat on the bride's knee and left a skid mark on her dress.
He shat. I think so.
Somewhere in there is an incredible advert for Daz. I was trying to think the other day of what is the shittest Scottish town, which obviously took me a while. But I decided it was Coe Bridge. Right, if you ever get a chance to go there, go. It's like Blade Runner without the special effects. To explain it to you, basically the town's pride took a bit of a knock recently when they found out that the people of Ethiopia were holding a rock concert for them. And there's a beautiful detail that I think encapsulates the place, right? Last time I was there, they had one takeaway restaurant, which is a Chinese, called Bon Appetit.
What?
Bon appetit.
Bon appetit is a French word, no?
He's saying
They had a
it's
great thing the other
Chinese.
day.
It doesn't
Said
sound
that
like that.
scientists are going to start treating alcoholism with LSD. That's going to make tramps very different people. Next to our change, pal, I've got a unicorn to feed. You heard this science thing that the human female has exactly the same pheromone scent as an orangutan female? It was news to me. I'll never wear a blindfold again. They told me she was a Geordie.
Oh.
Was it?
I think so he got replaced by.
Viagra is overrated, isn't it?
Orangutan.
Viagra actually takes half an hour to have any effect. I often find that in that time, the woman has managed to wriggle free. You ever heard this thing? That if you put a frog into boiling water, it will jump out. But if you put it in cold water, you heat the water up, the frog won't realise, and it will die.
Oh.
Well, to put it another way, scientists have got a lot of time in their hands. Shall we have a go at curing cancer? No.
Let's put a frog.
I'm going to see how many fruit pastels it takes to choke a kestrel. The referendum up in Scotland, it was won by the No campaign and Alistair Darling. I thought it'd be good if when he won, Alistair Darling's eyebrows had finally turned into butterflies. And he wasn't even able to look surprised about it. David Beckham sent the people of Scotland an open letter. An open letter because he couldn't work out how to get it into the envelope. People said during the campaign that I was anti-English. I couldn't be more pro-English. I thought the best thing for independence would have been if England had won the World Cup. Because you would have been so unbearable that we would have to leave. Whatever happens next, I think it's important that Scotland does something that puts England on the back foot, something that England won't expect. And the last thing that you're expecting is for us to form an Islamic caliphate.
What?
Ah yes, independent Scotland, we can do this.
Independent Scotland. Ah yes, Islamic
Okay,
State.
we'll have to learn how to treat women slightly better, but we can change.
Wow.
I think people don't understand enough about international politics, do they? In Scotland, people think that NATO is just a nickname you give to a guy who lost a foot to diabetes.
Scotland.
Ed Miliband came up for the referendum. Now I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, I don't think Ed Miliband will win the election. Because if he can't persuade his own face to do what he tells it to. Ed Miliband said he wanted to militarise the Scottish border. Can you imagine being a Scottish border guard? Having to do cavity searches just to keep your hands warm. Holding back the English refugees at Newcastle. Newcastle being the first city in history that turned into a refugee camp and got less mental. Things are actually a lot more civilised now that we're ruled over by a horse militia. Do you know what people in Scotland want? What they really want, in my experience, is they want transport to run normally in the winter through 3 feet of snow. That's all they ever moan about. Why isn't this train moving through the snow? Like, what you really want is for the pilot to come over the intercom and go, well, I've been told that it's not safe to take off, but I thought, let's give it a go.
He is hilarious to watch, and the way he roasts Scotland is so fun, because Scotland, we have always heard good things about it, like how very cold and very fun and very enjoyable country it is, and I always seen some good photos about it. But now he just says that worst country, and
Is he Scottish?
Yeah, he is Scottish.
That's why he's roasting Scotland.
He's from Glasgow. He was saying, and he's like, if I want to have one person who can punch a burning person, I know it will be from Scotland.
I was
only.
talking about the tagline written on the airport, while entering.
No, he was, because there was an event which happened, like a terrorist attack happened in Glasgow. So it was stopped by the people there. So that's what he was talking about. So that they chose, Al Qaeda chose the worst place to attack. And actually, because Scottish people are very different, and like how they just want to they just want one simple thing, that when there is snow, they just want their train to come on time.
Yeah, definitely. And I would like to, appreciate his looks, because his beard and at first his face was like clean. He's a like next level comedian. But I would say that his looks matter. For me, looks matter. So I would say with the comedian, with the his humorous skills, I would say I love his looks.
Actually, so it was very, very fun to watch. How did you guys find it? Do let us know in the comment section below. So do like, share, and
Subscribe.
bye.